The last problem we want to take a look at in this section is dividing a trinomial by a monomial. At a glance, these problems probably look a lot more complicated than what we've covered so far. But what we're going to do is use a little trick to break this up and then hopefully recognize it's exactly the same thing as what we're doing in example 5. We just have more pieces to simplify. What we're going to do, since we're dividing by a monomial, since we only have one term in the denominator, is break this up into 3 separate fractions. We're going to write this as 3x to the 5th over x squared minus 2x cubed over that same denominator, x squared, minus 2x squared over that exact same denominator of x squared. And this is okay because if we take a look at the expressions we have here, they have a common denominator, meaning we could combine those expressions back together into a single fraction, and we'd have exactly the expression we started off with. So as long as we keep that denominator constant under each of these new fractions, we can break this up by those individual terms. Now we can just reduce these one at a time like we did in example 5. Our first term will be 3 times x to the 5 minus 2, minus 2 times x to the 3 minus 2, minus 2 times x to the 2 minus 2, which will be the same thing as 3x cubed, minus 2x, minus 2 times x to the 0 power, which will just be 1. Similarly, in part B, looks like there should be an x right here that didn't show up. We'll break this up into 3 separate fractions. 15x squared over negative 5x to the 4th plus 15x cubed over negative 5x to the 4th minus 75x to the 5th over negative 5x to the 4th. Now we have a coefficient in the denominator. We need to look at simplifying that with the coefficient in the numerator if we can. And then our exponents will combine just like they have before. 15 divided by negative 5 will give us negative 3. X to the 2 minus 4. 15 divided by negative 5 will again give us minus 3. X to the 3 minus 4. And then 75 divided by, or minus 75 divided by negative 5 will give us plus 15 x to the 5 minus 4. So we'll have negative 3 x to the negative 2nd minus 3x to the negative 1 plus 15x. And in this case, our directions tell us that we can write this using positive or negative exponents. So this answer would be completely acceptable. Or we could rewrite this as negative 3 over x squared minus 3 over x plus 15x. Either of those two responses would be right in this case. Then for part C, we'll take that same approach. We'll break this up into the sum of 3 different fractions. The first one will be negative 4x squared over minus negative 4x to the 5th minus 8 over negative 4x to the 5th plus 32 over negative 4x to the 5th. Negative 4 over 4 will reduce to 1, so we'll have x to the 2 minus 5. Let's see, negative 8 over negative 4 would be plus 2 x to the 0 minus 5, since there is no x in that numerator. We can think of that as an x to the 0 in that numerator. Then 32 over negative 4 will reduce to negative 8 x Let's see, sorry about this. In the original problem, I just noticed in my notes there's supposed to be an x here as well. We had a couple of x's disappear in these problems. That should be a 32x, meaning we'll have minus 8x to the 1 minus 5 so we'll get x to the negative 3 plus 2x to the negative 5 minus 8x to the negative 4, which if we wanted we could rewrite with positive exponents, or we can leave this in terms of negative exponents.